You wake up inside a small room with no windows. The air smells of sweat, fear, and old olive oil. The stone walls feel cold against your bare skin. Far away, you hear laughter coming from the big house. That sound makes your stomach twist. Not the kind of laughter that brings joy, the kind that brings fear. Your whole body hurts from the night before. Bruises spread across your ribs in dark purple and yellow marks, like dying flowers. An iron shackle is locked around your ankle. It has rubbed your skin raw. Dried blood falls off every time you move. You hear footsteps, heavy sandals walking across marble floors. You know that sound. It's the overseer. He's coming to get you ready. Another day of what they call service is about to begin. Your hands tremble as you reach for the thin, wrinkled tunic lying in the corner of the room. You're only 15 years old, but you've stopped counting your birthdays. Time feels different when you are someone else's property. The door opens with a loud scrape, metal grinding on stone. Sunlight floods the room. It's too bright, and you raise your hand to shield your eyes. A large shadow blocks the light. It's the overseer, big, muscular, his body covered in scars. His face looks like it was carved by pain. He's spent years breaking the spirits of young boys like you. "Clean yourself," he says, tossing a wet cloth to the floor. "The master has guests tonight, important ones." His eyes move over your body, cold and sharp, like someone examining a horse before a sale. You're going to help entertain them. You feel your throat close. You know exactly what that means. You've known since the first night they dragged you here, screaming, from your village. They told you your family's debt had been paid, but not with money. They used you as payment. You were sold. This was the reality for many young boys in ancient Greece. Not the version we read about in history books, with beautiful temples and wise philosophers. Behind the shining marble columns and brilliant ideas, there were dark and brutal truths. Many lives were destroyed to build that world. Before we go deeper into these forgotten stories of pain and survival, if you enjoy discovering history's hidden side, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more. And let me know in the comments, where in the world are you listening from? I think it's amazing that we're learning about these ancient stories together, across time and space. The process started long before you even knew what was happening. Maybe your family owed money to a rich landowner. Maybe your village was attacked by raiders during one of the many wars that happened across the Greek world. Or maybe you were just born with a beautiful face, and in that time, beauty was treated like a thing to be bought and sold. In small Greek villages, families lived very close to disaster. A single bad harvest, or a serious injury to a parent, or a sudden death, any of these could push a family into debt. When the collectors came, they didn't want promises, they wanted payment. And if there was no money, they took children. Picture a simple village in a valley between olive trees. The homes are small, made of mud and sticks. The floors are dirt. Families sleep in the same room, huddled together for warmth. Children run around naked, laughing, while goats bleat and women grind grain. Life is hard, but it's still life. Then comes a drought. Week after week, the sun burns the earth. Crops wither. The ancient olive trees give only tiny, bitter fruit. The fields turn brown. The wells begin to dry. The village is slowly dying. Families start to make impossible choices. First, they sell the animals, the goats and sheep they depend on. Then they sell jewelry, old things passed down for generations. When there's nothing left to sell, they look at their children. Slave merchants arrive like vultures. They set up in the center of the village. Their chains and ropes are piled at their feet. Their books are filled with names and prices. They offer quick money in exchange for long years of service. 20 years of labor, they say, in return for enough silver to feed your family through winter. To a starving parent, it sounds like a good deal, even generous. But you are only 12 years old. You don't understand desperation. All you see is your father refusing to look you in the eye while he makes a deal. Your mother turns away when the merchant grabs your jaw to look at your teeth, like you're a farm animal. Their hands touch your arms, your legs, your chest, checking how strong you are. You hear words like healthy, obedient, and useful in the home. You don't know what they mean. Not yet. The merchant counts silver coins into your father's hand. Each coin is a year of your life. Your father's hands shake as he takes the money, but he still takes it. Your mother covers her face and cries, but she doesn't stop the deal. They tell you this is only temporary. They say you'll work, earn money, and come back one day. You'll be rich. You'll own land, maybe even take a wife. They say you'll be trained, you'll learn skills. This is your chance to grow. The lies fall easily from their mouths, sweet but deadly. The journey to the city is long and cruel. You are now part of a human chain. Boys and young men connected by iron collars and hopelessness. The older ones are silent. They already know there is no escape. The younger ones cry for their mothers until they lose their voices or until the overseers beat them silent. You walk across a beautiful land that you cannot enjoy. Rolling hills, tall olive trees, bright blue sea, and birds flying high above the mountains. But you see none of it. Your whole world is the chain between you and the boy in front of you. The rhythm of footsteps on the road. The growing fear that you will never go home again. At night, they drive metal stakes into the dirt and chain you down. You lie there on the ground, neck twisted, body cold. Around you, the others cry softly. The iron around your neck feels like a curse that will never come off. Sometimes the merchants bring strangers to see you. Rich men with soft hands and eyes like wolves. They walk among the boys, poking and prodding, checking for sickness or weakness. They don't speak to you, they talk about you, as if you're not there. You begin to notice the different kinds of buyers. The ones looking for farm workers check muscles and bones. They want strong boys who can work in the sun. The ones looking for house slaves want calm eyes, quiet voices, and soft-mannered children who won't fight back. But then there's a third kind. These men are dressed in fine robes. Their hair is neat, their breath smells like wine. They wear rings and expensive perfume, and when they touch you, their hands stay too long. Their eyes are hungry. They aren't looking for workers. They're looking for something else. Something darker. The slave market in Athens is a nightmare. The noise hits you first, shouting, bargaining, crying. Then the smells, wet, dirt, fear, and something worse. You try not to breathe too deeply. Then you see it. Bodies, so many bodies, lined up in rows, like meat at a butcher's stall. Children stand beside their mothers, not understanding what's happening. Old men with tired faces are pushed forward, their value based on what little strength they have left. All around them, buyers whisper, laugh, and point like people shopping for fruit. They wash you and rub oil into your skin, not to help you, to make you shine. The oil makes your muscles look smooth. Buyers pay more for clean slaves. You are placed with the household group. Someone decided you're too attractive for field work. You belong inside the house now. You're told to smile, stand still, show your teeth. The auctioneer calls out your details to the crowd, your age, where you're from, your health. He says you are good-looking and well-behaved. These words make certain buyers pay attention. The bidding starts. Low at first, then rising fast. Many men want you. You stand there, frozen, while strangers touch you. One man opens your mouth, another squeezes your arms. A third runs his fingers through your hair and smiles. You're not a person anymore. You're a product. The man who wins the auction is named Lysander. You won't learn his name until later. Right now, you only see his smile. He's pleased. His silver coins pass from his hand to the merchants. His eyes look at you like he already owns your soul, before the deal is complete. You notice the man who just bought you. He's middle-aged, clearly well-fed. His hands are soft hands that have never touched soil or done hard work. His tunic is made of fine silk, dyed a deep purple, the kind of color only the rich can afford. When he looks at you, something in his eyes makes your stomach twist. You want to run, but the chains remind you that running isn't an option. His name is Lysander. You won't learn that until later. For now, you're just aware of his smile, satisfied, hungry, cold. Lysander owns a large house in the wealthy part of Athens. It's bigger than your entire village. The floors are marble, the walls are painted with bright colors, and the rooms are decorated with detailed mosaics of gods and heroes. Slaves move through the halls quickly, quietly, carrying trays of wine and food. Most of them are young men, all different in appearance, but they share the same expression: empty eyes, forced calm. It's a look you're starting to recognize, the look of someone who has given up. You're handed over to a man named Demetrius. He is the overseer. He used to be a slave too, bought young like you. But now, through cleverness and cruelty, he has risen in rank. He runs the household slaves with an iron grip. He knows exactly how to break people because he was broken once. To Dot, as he walks you through the house, he explains the rules. You'll be fed twice a day: barley porridge in the morning, bread and olives at night. You'll receive clean clothes once a week. You will bathe only when told. You will eat when told. You will sleep when told. You will speak only when spoken to. You are never to look a free person directly in the eyes. You are never to disobey an order, no matter what the order is. Then Demetrius says something that makes your heart freeze. You are here to serve the master and his guests, he says, in whatever way they want. That might mean pouring wine. It might mean cleaning floors. Or it might mean other things. Things he doesn't explain, but his cruel smile tells. You more than words ever could. Some try to resist, he adds, but resistance only brings pain. Obedience, however, that can lead to small comforts, better food, a warmer blanket, even a trinket or two. Your new room is in the basement, deep underground. The walls are thick stone. The space is divided into tiny cells. Each one has a straw mattress, a thin blanket, and a bucket. The stone blocks sound. You soon understand why. The other slaves greet you with cautious looks. Some are kind, others are afraid to get close. There's Marcus, about your age. He's been here 2 years. His face is young, but his eyes are ancient, wounded. There's Alexios, older, covered in scars. He whispers to you about the guests that visit, what they expect, what they take. Then there's Philemon, barely 14, but he looks older, not in his body, in his soul. He used to be the son of a small shopkeeper. When his father's business collapsed, creditors took everything, including him. He's been here 6 months. He explains the truth about what happens in the house. In Greek culture, they have something called a symposium, a kind of dinner party where educated men gather to drink, talk, and debate ideas about philosophy, politics, poetry. In the stories, these events sound refined, civilized, but Philemon tells you what really happens. He tells you about the preparations, how slaves are washed and rubbed with oil until their skin shines, how they're dressed in thin robes meant to attract the eye, how sometimes they wear gold jewelry not to honor them, but to display them like decorations. The party starts with conversation. The men lie on couches. They talk about politics, about war, about the wisdom of Socrates. They laugh, sip wine, and act like the great minds of their time. But as the night grows late and the wine flows freely, things change. The jokes get crude, the laughter gets louder, and the slaves, who were quiet shadows in the room, suddenly become the main attraction. At first it's small things. Pour this man some wine, massage his shoulders, feed grapes to the one on the left. The tasks sound simple, almost harmless, but you start noticing the signals, the way voices drop when you approach, the way hands linger longer than needed, the way certain guests watch you, eyes cold, and curious like a cat watches a trapped bird. The first time you are chosen, you don't fully understand. An older guest, grey hair, elegant robes, asks you to sit beside him. Share my wine, he says. Tell me about your village, your family. At first, he seems kind. His voice is soft. His questions sound caring. But then his hand rests on your shoulder, then slides lower. You try to pull away. His grip tightens. The others are watching now. The room is silent. What happens next never leaves you. Not in your dreams. Not in the quiet hours of the night. Not ever. Your voice is ignored. Your resistance is laughed at. Hands grab you. Clothes are torn. Pain comes fast. Then silence. You lie awake in your cell afterward. The ceiling above you is just stone, but it feels endless, like a sky you can never reach. Your body aches, but the pain inside you goes deeper. Your soul feels broken. You're not a boy anymore. You're not even a person. You're a thing. A toy for men who write poems about beauty and destroy it in the same breath. But that was only the beginning. In the months that follow, you learn that your first night was, by the house's standards, mild. Some guests have special preferences, darker tastes. Some treat you like a game, a challenge to break. The overseer doesn't stop them. In fact, he encourages it. Broken slaves don't fight back. The house has its own twisted system. Newer slaves get the worst treatment. If you survive, maybe you'll be moved to the kitchen or assigned to a gentler master. But promotion isn't a reward. It means you've accepted your place. You've given up fighting. Marcus tried to escape once. They caught him. Beat him so badly he couldn't walk straight for weeks. Alexios once said no to something unspeakable. They chained him outside without food or water, under the sun, for 3 days. Some resist in different ways. They disappear inside their minds. Stop talking, stop caring. Some become clever, learning to predict danger and avoid it. A few die from sickness, from wounds, from sadness so deep it kills. You've seen it. A boy who just stopped eating, stopped responding. His eyes hollow, his spirit gone. but replacements are always easy to find. The markets are full. The cruelty isn't just physical, it's psychological. Isolation is a weapon. You're cut off from your past, from anyone who knew you. You're surrounded by others, like you, but they can't protect you. They're fighting their own battles. Uncertainty is another tool. You never know when you'll be called, what you'll be asked to do, or what the punishment will be. Fear eats you alive. But the worst weapon is the loss of identity. They give you a new name, one that sounds nice in Greek, but isn't yours. They stop you from speaking your old language. They feed you strange food, force you to wear their clothes, worship their gods. Bit by bit, they erase you. The guests who visit the house aren't monsters from the outside. They're the pride of Athens, famous names, respected men. There's Dionysos, a politician. He gives speeches about justice and honor. He talks about fairness for all citizens. But in private, he enjoys humiliating young slaves. He quotes poetry while he breaks people. Then there's Cleomenes, a rich man who donates money to the poor. People praise his kindness, but here he's brutal. He hurts people for fun, says pain teaches lessons. Worst of all is Sophist, a philosopher. He writes books about virtue, about goodness, about ethics. But give him wine and he turns cruel. He says terrible things while justifying them with clever words. None of them feel guilty. In their minds, slaves aren't real people. The rules don't apply. They believe you can be kind to friends and cruel to slaves, still be a good man. This isn't a personal failure. It's a part of their system. A society built on art, wisdom, and power balanced on the backs of people like you. The free citizens had time to create beauty and philosophy because someone else was carrying the burden. As the years go by, you become someone else. Not stronger, not wiser, just different. You learn to read the room, to sense when danger is near, to smile at the right moment, to speak only when safe. You perfect the skill of being present, but mentally gone. You survive, but you pay a price. Every time you give in, a little piece of you disappears. The child who once ran under olive trees is gone. In his place is a quiet young man with hollow eyes, moving through the world like a shadow. The other slaves become your only real family. You build silent ways to communicate, small glances, hand signs, shared warnings. You protect each other when you can. Share bits of food. Trade quiet stories. Hold each other when the darkness comes. But even this comfort is risky. A slave hoping to rise in rank might betray others. A single whisper could bring punishment. Even love is a weapon in this place. Before the sale is even finished, you notice him. He looks around, 50 years old, with a round belly and soft hands that clearly never worked a day of hard labor. He wears a fine silk tunic, dyed deep purple color that only the rich can afford. When he looks at you, something in his eyes makes your stomach turn, but you can't run. The chains on your ankles make sure of that. His name is Lysander. He owns a large home in one of the richest areas of Athens. His house is so big it could swallow your entire village. Marble columns stand tall in the garden. The walls are painted with colorful scenes of gods and heroes. The floors are covered in mosaics made of tiny stones. Servants move quickly through the hallways, carrying food and wine. Many of them are young men, each good-looking in a different way, but they all wear the same haunted expression, the look of someone trapped. You are handed over to a man named Demetrius. He's the overseer of the house. He was once a slave, just like you, But now he's in charge. He rose through the ranks by being clever and cruel. He knows exactly how to break a person's spirit. As he walks you through the house, he explains the rules. You'll be fed twice a day porridge in the morning, bread and olives at night. You'll get clean clothes once a week. You'll bathe when told. You'll eat, sleep, speak, and move only when ordered. You must never look a free person in the eyes. You must never say no to any command, no matter what it is. And then Demetrius says something that makes your blood run cold. You are here to serve the master and his guests in any way they ask. That might mean pouring wine, cleaning, or entertaining them. He doesn't explain what kind of entertainment he means, but the way he smiles tells you enough. Some slaves, he says, fight back, but that only brings pain. Obedience, however, can bring rewards. A softer bed, better food, maybe even a few personal items. That's the deal. Your sleeping quarters are underground, a row of small, dark cells, where the male slaves live. Each one has a straw mattress, a thin blanket, and a chamber pot. The walls are thick and heavy, built to keep sound from escaping. You'll soon understand why. The other slaves meet you with quiet stares, some kind, some cautious. There's Marcus, about your age. He's been here 2 years. His eyes seem far too old for his young face. Then there's Alexios, older, with scars on his arms. He warns you in whispers about the guests who visit and what they expect. And Philemon, just 14, but already hollow. His family lost everything, and he was sold like furniture. He's been here 6 months. He's the one who finally tells you the truth about what goes on here. He starts by explaining the symposiums. In Greek culture, these were fancy drinking parties. Educated men gathered to talk about philosophy, politics, and art. That's what the history books say. But the truth is much darker. At these parties, the guests didn't just want food and drink. They wanted something more, something human. Slaves like you were expected to serve in ways that had nothing to do with wine or philosophy. The same men who spoke about justice and wisdom during the day were the ones who used young slaves for their own pleasure at night. Philemon explains it all without emotion, like he's telling someone else's story. Before a symposium, the slaves are bathed and rubbed with oil. Their skin must shine. They're dressed in special tunics, thin fabric that shows off their bodies. Sometimes they're given jewelry to make them look more like decoration than people. At first, the evening seems harmless. The guests lie on couches, sipping wine and talking about grand ideas. They discuss democracy, Socrates, wars, and art. But as the night goes on and the wine flows, the tone changes. Intellectual talks fade, dirty jokes start, and soon the slaves become the center of attention. It begins with simple tasks. Pour wine, rub someone's shoulders, feed grapes to a guest. But you learn to read the signs. The way a conversation goes quiet when you enter the room. The way certain men stare at you. The way their fingers linger too long. The first time you're chosen, you don't understand what's coming. An older guest calls you over. He wants to share his wine. He asks about your home, your family. His voice is friendly. His hand rests on your shoulder, then your back, then lower. You try to pull away, but his grip tightens. The room quiets. All eyes are on you. What happens next never leaves your mind. You protest, but no one listens. You struggle, but strong. Hands hold you down. Your clothes are ripped away. And your childhood ends in the cruelest way imaginable. Later, You lie on your straw bed, staring at the ceiling. Your body hurts, but your heart hurts more. You've been turned into something less than human, something used, something broken, and this is only the beginning. Over the next months, you learn that what happened that night was nothing compared to what some guests enjoy. Some want things that are worse, things that leave deeper scars. Others make games of it, trying to see who can destroy a slave's spirit the fastest. Demetrius allows it. He even encourages it. A broken slave is an obedient slave, he says. The house is built on layers of cruelty. New slaves suffer the worst. If they survive, they might be promoted to better role servants, for kinder masters, or kitchen workers who don't see guests as often. But to get there, you have to give up everything: your pride, your identity, your soul. Some try to fight back. Marcus tried to run away. They caught him, beat him so badly he limped for weeks. Alexios once refused a sickening command. They chained him in the courtyard, no food or water under the sun. He nearly died. Resistance, you learn, takes many forms. Some people shut down completely. They stop talking, stop eating, stop caring. Others become clever, reading moods, avoiding danger. A few simply die, and for them, death is freedom. You've seen it. Slaves who give up, who just lie in bed, unmoving, who stop answering to their names. The overseers don't care. They're quickly replaced. There's always a new shipment of young boys and girls at the slave markets. But it's not just beatings or pain that break you. The real damage is deeper, more subtle. They separate you from your past. They give you a new name, something that sounds Greek. They forbid your language. They make you wear their clothes, eat their food, worship their gods. Bit by bit, they erase who you were, until there's nothing left. The guests who visit the house, they're not nobodies. They are the elite of Athens. Rich merchants, politicians, famous thinkers and writers, men whose names appear in history books. But when they enter this house, they become monsters. There's Dionysa, respected lawmaker. He gives speeches about justice and fairness. But here, he forces boys to act out scenes from poems, naked, humiliated, while he laughs and quotes Homer. There's Cleomenes, a merchant who gives money to the poor. But here, he tortures slaves and says it teaches them discipline. And the worst, a philosopher who writes about ethics and virtue. He speaks of kindness and order, but at night he justifies every cruelty with big words. These men don't feel guilty. To them, slaves are not fully human. Morals don't apply. They can be kind to citizens and cruel to slaves, and never feel like they're doing anything wrong. This wasn't some exception. This was the system. The art, the writing, the philosophy of it was made possible by slavery. By people like you, suffering in silence. As time passes, you change. You become skilled at survival. You learn how to guess what guests want, how to act, how to avoid pain. You appear obedient. But inside, you go far away to a place no one can reach. But every day you live this way, you lose a little more of yourself. The boy who once ran through olive fields is gone. What's left is a shadow, a ghost in a living body. You walk the halls of this house like you're not really there. Other slaves become your only family. You learn to speak without words, glance, a nod, a small touch. You share bits of food, watch over each other, hold one another through the nights, but even that is risky. The masters use friendships against you. They promise better treatment. If you betray someone, And some do, because in a world this dark, even love becomes dangerous.